Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight we got a great show for you with the dogs are howling in the background, my personal audience, and my co-host Lucky Stone, and our special guest tonight, Eden Koz. Thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Now, people, if you don't know Eden, you're going to have to go over to her channel, check it out, because you will be surprised. And so let's find out a little bit about her. And tonight on the Milky Way Soul Tribe, we're going to figure this out. Tonight, we're digging into something a lot of people feel, but don't always know. And she's going to explain the Great Awakening, the real thing, not the trendy version. And of course, you know, she's going to be my guest, Eden Koz, tonight, a soul realignment specialist, Reiki master, and the host and of the podcast Just Spiritual Boom. I guess that's quite a name of a podcast. Eden's story includes major life resets, stage 4 lung cancer diagnosis, and a near-death experience. Big relationship changes, and what she describes as a deep awakening that reshaped everything. So today we're going to talk truth, traps, discernment, and what New Earth actually means in practical life, especially when your mind, body, and relationships are being tested. Eden, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Robert. You got zest. I love that. Hopefully I can match that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, in my younger years, I was an activities director.
That completely makes sense. I bet you're great.
Oh, I was. I used to do talent shows in the whole 9 yards out there. Welcome everybody to the big top show, you know.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. And now you're doing this, and you've been doing this for a while, so it makes complete sense.
Yeah, exactly. So have you. We got a lot of shows under your belt. Been doing this for a few years, and gee, why don't you explain a little bit? Where do we start with you? Let's start in the beginning. What drove you to be a podcaster? Explaining your story. Was it the cancer scare? Was it the near death experience? Was it being a Reiki master? To kind of sum it up here and let everybody know.
Okay, no one's ever asked me that question, Robert. So, it was with everything going on in the world, and we're going to talk about the Great Awakening. I wanted a place where I could speak, and no one would silence me, and I could have my own opinions. And it was a beautiful thing. I didn't plan, like I've been doing it for 4 years, 4 years and 2 months. And I didn't think I was going to be doing this, but it was just also to meet like minds all over the world who share the spiritual like-mindedness that I do. That has been the thing that's kept me going, and the thing that I really love about it is like meeting you guys, and just because it's where I live. There are people, but not many people that kind of fit into what I do. So it's like, okay, I'm going to go out and find them. And the people that I've met and the friendships that I've garnered, it's just all over the world. It's incredible. It's incredible.
It is. I know I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Especially when you say, you know, the people around you, maybe they're not awake. Okay. Yeah. Of course, we're talking about the Great Awakening a little bit too. It is. Everybody's doing their thing every day. They're taking care of their family. They don't care. They just are like zombies to everything. They just don't look. They don't know nothing.
Yeah. And it's so like my job is not to wake people up because, you know, that's really challenging, yet to continue to let people know we're at a time period too, where it's not just being a spiritual person and sitting on the mountain and watching what's going. It's about taking action and, you know, using your voice, it's about choice, making a choice, looking at things, being awake with things. And I don't know about you guys, but there are rabbit holes, there are truths that, you know, a couple years ago, that was when my big awakening came. And it was like, oh my gosh, the world that we are in is a matrix. There's so much that's not real. Yet since that time, there's still rabbit hole after rabbit hole to go down, awakening after awakening. Yet I would say this year for me is a really a solidification. I'm going to look off for, and I do this when I'm really feeling things, a solidification of my energy, of my vibration. And I feel that we are in an incredible change this year and the next couple of years. It's going to be amazing. Hard, yet amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What to pinpoint it, like I know a lot of people come on and they talk about what, then they'll say, oh yeah, 2012 was the time I woke up. 2015 when I heard this, or 20 whatever. They always seem to have a pinpoint,
yeah,
accuracy kind of thing. Like that's what sparked my awakening.
Yes.
What was yours?
Well, mine was in 2020 when a big event came through across the world. And before that, I had been incredibly spiritual, yet I didn't really realize the depth of things. I always believed that we're not alone on this earth, but that also opened me up to, oh my gosh, galaxies. And I ended up taking a class that talked about our galactic origin and history, and that was just mind-blowing. And now I work with a lot of galactics. So it's just like the past 6 years have just been, in terms of my spiritual growth, bam, pow, so expanding. And that's what this awakening is. It's just really about expansion and knowing that there's so much more to life and to being a human being. I say it's not about escaping the human that we are, but it's a human ascension, which that's the key.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be a human thing. It has to be, because the world as we know it has been around for possibly millions or billions of years, and no amount of change that we can do can equal Mother Nature. It has to be, our personal growth for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, Lucky, what do you say on the awakening?
Well, I binge watch some of your shows because that's what I do. And I remember Jenny Lee had said something to the effect of,
big one.
You agreed that at this point, it's not our job to awaken anybody. If they're not awake yet, it's their path, different than us. And I think that's more freeing than anything else. That if someone asks, then we can help them. But there's a balance where if they don't ask, it's not our job to go out there. Actually, it's not our business. And that's something I've been trying to work with lately for myself, is that actually one of my affirmations I'm trying to develop is that help me mind my own business, learn to help those who can accept my help and are willing to take it, and allow me to understand those who cannot accept my help or don't need my help for me to, let them be. And it's a balancing act, and it's freeing, because sometimes we want to help. You want to rescue everyone? Yeah. You just can't. And it's time when, if they don't ask, you don't. It's an obligation, and that's something I balance myself with. But I just remember that specifically thing, and I'm like, yes, I need to work on that. I need to work on that myself.
Well, and it's really neat for my clients to come. There are several that are aware of everything, and those that are not, I simply just say, hey, we're going through a huge human ascension right now. And with that, there's a huge amount of polarity in the world, political, race division, gender division, all of that. And that's really necessary, because we have to address all of that so it can crumble and newness can arise. So most of my clients, when I at least go into that without getting into, oh, that means this and that means this, they can stomach that or take that, because they're also coming to see me. So I'm not your typical person. I'm very alternative. So when I suggest that to them, they all go, oh, okay. And then I just trickle in, once I learn more of their personality and what they believe. I go, oh, what about this? And plant little seeds and introduce. So I pretty much tell everybody that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Oh, well, that kind of segues into that the new earth thing. You know, people think, oh, the new earth, there's going to be a whole, I remember in the beginning, people were talking about this, and I just, oh, like the earth is going to just totally change, and we're going to just like have everything new. No, it's the new earth in your mind and your consciousness, and you know, and the plants aren't going to grow different, and the sunlight ain't going to be changed into a different kind of light, and we're not going to wake up one morning and have all this free energy, and we're going to have, you know, space rockets and things flying around and aliens showing up and saying, hi, how you doing, everything's great. No, you know, it's all in here, and in here what we make of it, and what we believe and how we change. Can you explain some of that?
Yeah, you said it pretty perfectly. We are moving, I feel, from, you hear a lot of 3D to 5D, and it can be larger than 5D. There's no stopping at 5D as well. So those are dimensions. And right now we're in the fourth, a lot of us, which is the bridge between the third and the fifth. Yet it is basically moving away from logic and the mind and victimhood and keeping up with the Joneses, greed, where we are going to start living by the heart. And when you really start there and increasing your vibration, increasing your thoughts and your mindset, just what you said, Robert, what's going to appear to you is what is in here. So if you want to connect to like-minded people, if you want to have a beautiful life, we are coming to the time now where polarity will be gone. So it's not that you're not going to continue to grow and expand, but this deep, you know, black and white, there's gonna be no gray. And I'm still sitting here going, and I know that I am also getting better with that, with the neutrality. Yet I can't imagine in the years to come what's that going to be like. And I do think that the galactics there's going to be contact made sooner than later. I think that there's going to be more understanding with that and more community with that. So I am so excited by that as well. And also getting in my mind, I don't know about you guys, but getting in my mind that all these different races that, you know, my mentor also talks about, it's like Star Wars. Like when you imagine the what is it, the bar scene in the first one? I mean, that's what the galaxy is like. So, you know, you got the Palladians who look like us, very beautiful people, but then you've got some of these races that are just going to be astounding to look at and not to be scared by. Or so I've been working some on that acceptance of whatever comes my way. What other questions you got for me?
No, I agree with you, but I disagree with some of that in a way. But I don't think the aliens are ever going to come face to face with us.
Really? How come?
Because we are so devolved. I mean, I'm just speaking of my personal opinion, but in reality, if you really look around and ask yourself the big question and say, pretend you're an alien and you show up here and you go, oh my gosh, these people are fighting amongst themselves. They are warring in the streets. They're getting ready to go to war again for, you know, maybe a third world war. They have, you know, 10,000 different gods that they're praying to in religion. They got, you know, this billion people are praying to a guy on a stick, a dead man on a stick. You got other people who are praying to a Buddha, you know, that's little statues and that lived, you know, thousands of years ago. And and they all hate each other because they think their religion is right. You know, the other bunch of people are afraid of aliens if they come down there to eat their little brains out because they watch too many sci-fi movies. And then every alien that shows up on Earth is going to, you know, enslave you, eat you, destroy you, cook you. You know, I could go on and on. And when they did show up, or they will show up on the White House lawn, just using a figure from a movie we've all seen, where the alien comes out and says, you know, I'm going to destroy you all if you would keep doing what you're doing. You know, do you think they would really want to show up and announce themselves to the world? Or you got the second thing, and I think you're right. I think this has to do with the changing of ourselves.
Yes.
that they would contact us individually, only if we are willing to accept them, and then they would give us knowledge to become better and help us to become that 5D. And if you're not willing to accept that, they're not going to help you, because just like you were saying, you can't wake people up. You can't go out there and find Johan off the street there, shake him and say, listen, this is the truth. I'm going to tell you everything. He's going to say, what?
Yeah, or I don't want to know. I've had some people that are like, I hear what you're saying, but I just don't want to know, because there are really major things that are going on right now that would turn people's stomachs or make them go into disbelief. Okay, Robert, I also, to go with that, I believe we are in the midst of a great split right now. And to me, the people that are ready, the vibrations that are ready, that will happen for sure. I don't think that people who have their head in the sand, that an alien's going to come and they're going to be like, yes, let's do this thing. I think for those that are, and I also think that everybody's going to shift, just the timelines are different for everyone too. Yet I think that those of us that are kind of ready and awake, that's going to happen sooner than later.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is a time of changing. We are changing from one zodiac sign to another. Was it Aquarius? So we're moving in Aquarius now. And and that's the idea there. And I think Lucky brought it up, and he talks to spirits. And he always told me, and if I'm wrong, Lucky, you can tell me I'm wrong. But if you're willing to, they're talkative, and if you're willing to listen, you will be able to hear them. If you're not going to get nothing. Is this correct?
Oh yeah, and especially now, if you really, to me, so I started doing this work in my late 20s. So much of it initially was clearing off all my gook, if you could say it that way, and in doing so, that opened me up to way more. So I was always very empathetic. I had started seeing spirits. I wasn't clear with what that was in my when I was 9. And then when I started doing deep meditation, that just changed everything. And I suddenly saw the spirit when I was 9 years old. So I work with anything that's energy. So I'm going to close my eyes for just a moment. So that could be people that are on the other side of the veil. It could be animals. It can be everything, like a rock, crystals. And I think that everybody has this ability. It'll just be different for people. Yet it's about you opening up, being ready, because to me, it's just all right there. Like when we say beyond the veil, there really isn't a veil for me. It's all present all the time when I decide I want to look at it. So it's also not always in front of me. I can choose to just have a normal day or go, oh, let me look out on my street. Say, oh my gosh, there are all these people that are just walking that no one else can see. That's okay. That's just, it's just been that way for such a long time. I also clear houses. I don't do that very much, maybe about once a year. So within that, I've seen some major things also. So all of this has been so much a part of my life for such a long time that I don't really think about it. I know that people still perceive me as different, yet because of the podcast, I know I'm really not now. There are so many other people out there that do the same thing. And because the energy is moving so quickly, I feel like the young ones that are being born today have a completely different energy and structure than we do, and DNA structure, that they are going to be so much more intuitive and take so much less time. And I think they're just going to come into the world and be like, oh, there's energy over there. It's just going to be triumphant. Triumphant. And I think they're going to help a lot of us along, help us and the community in the world ease them through things quicker.
Lucky right. You addressed her on this one because this is your wheelhouse.
Woo, let's go.
It's tough because to me, spirits are just like regular people. And my biggest obstacle is I don't see demons.
I see it all.
The only time I've experienced demons is when I was sent in and this is just a protective guy. He just needed something he's venting because you messed up and here's why. And he's not a demon. He's just a protector. And he's easy to deal with, or getting rid of things. It's not my wheelhouse, but helping things work together, I'm okay with that. I can do that. I used to try to send them to the light, but then it would bring in 3 more, 4 more, and like, what am I doing? So yeah, but to me, it's for me, it's all the demons, the reptilian stuff. It's humans negativity. It's not the spirits. It's what, like bringing like, and it's tough. It's tough to express that. It's like, oh, the demon in your house, you brought it in, unfortunately, and here's how you can work it out. But it's a tough thing. Yeah, I'm Pollyanna-ish. I'm always positive. That's the only problem with me, is that it's tough for me to deal with people who have these huge problems and these things. And it's just, well, maybe you have someone else who can help you deal with it, because for me, I can only help you bring yourself up so this isn't a problem anymore, rather than, might be someone else's expertise to help you deal with the entity that, from my point of view, it's there because your negativity is bringing it in. It's complicated for me.
Yeah, can I respond to some of that or add?
Please do, because it's a weird adventure that I have with it. Yes.
All right, let's see if I can. So this great awakening is also for all of us humans to realize that we are the demons, we are the angels, that we compose all of it. I've had many past life, I call them parallel lives, where I have been a murderer. I was a serial killer. I was a ruler in Asia that, oh my gosh, started wars, killed people. And I think almost every life that I've seen has been not so great. So realizing that we are all everything. Okay, yeah, it's interesting that you use the word Pollyannish, Lucky, because I was kind of that way too. I guess it's been 2 years now. I was called to get rid of some, let's say, negative spirits at a house. It turns out it was right near me, which was interesting. They had a company come in before to clear it out, didn't quite take. So this was one of those. I've been in others where it just felt bad. They maybe heard some things. In this house, 2 little girls grabbed the mother by the hair, pulled her down the stairs, like some major stuff. So I went in, went down to the basement. There was a portal in the basement. I started doing my work and was going to eat lunch with them after. And suddenly I was like, I saw these demons, because I was also like light and dark. This showed me some of the true evil that exists. These demons were taking my body, eating it, grounding it up. And in a way, I was shocked. I didn't realize it could be this negative. So I happened to call my mentor who I work with, and she happened to pick up the phone, and she's like, Eden, they don't like you being there. I would like for you to recite the Lord's Prayer. Imagine that the portal is closed when you leave. I would encourage you not to stay there for lunch, just to go on home and just to make sure when you get home that everything feels cleared. Lucky, that was a huge moment for me, because it showed me the depths of what that is here. Yet, like you said, knowing that is also me, that I could be that demon, that I could be that too. So it was seeing it, realizing the depth, and then also accepting it and giving it love, them love, giving myself love, giving the world love. You are right. It is very complicated, and it's easy to go, that evil, I'm going to shut that down. That is not a part of me. Yet it is. Yet you go your way, I'll go my way. we'll just, because that's what this is too. It's almost like a turning point. At this point, what do you choose to be? Do you choose to be dark? Do you choose to be evil? Or do you choose to really be light? Where are you? And upping your vibration, your heart, and your compassion, and again, looking at everybody as you, as an extension of you. That's very powerful stuff. And looking at all these angels and demons is also an extension of myself. Yet I also, I'm on a roll. I also get to choose who I'm going to be with and who I'm going to be a part of. So if I see someone and have compassion for them and realize they're in a dark place, they wouldn't be someone I'd be like, oh, let's be friends. Hey, I get you. I love you from afar. You go and do you. Yet this person over here that is synchronicity to me or has synchronicity with me, that is who I'm going to hang out with. And we're going to build a community together or our life together. So it's about choice, yet at the same time, compassion and heart, and knowing that none of anything that's outside of you is different from you or separate from you. How was that? Did I encapsulate it? Should I say anything else?
No, that's it. That's exactly what it is. It's, I have met some really big shadow people, really big.
Yeah.
And of course, I just sent it love and it went away. But the big ones were my least problem. It's the little ones who appear as children. They're tough.
Yeah.
Because I some of the ones I deal with elementals, I call them the forest children. They're fun. They're goof. They're not a problem. But then the other ones who are little childlike, and I know that's not a child spirit. That's not a child spirit. And that's one of the tough ones where I try to spend love to them and they don't want it. And they just kind of, what is it? Reminds me of the vampire movies where they put that, the cross up and they go, that kind of thing. And, to me, it's like, well, what are you doing here? And they're there for a reason, and it's not my place to take them away. And like, well, I'm stuck now. And I'm asked my guides, and they're like, yeah, you probably should get the heck out of there. This isn't helpful. I'm here to help relieve this, help this thing pass on, help the people. And like, yeah, that's not your point. That's not your place. You should step away and have someone else with better expertise. And I guess that's a part of the deal, is that sometimes you have to be humble and say, I'm just not the right fit for this situation.
Well, I'll go back to those evil demons, I'll call it. It wasn't in this situation for me to send them love. That would be the same thing. They would not have accepted that. They would not have wanted that. So it was okay for me to go, you go your way, I'll go mine. And that was completely appropriate.
Mm-hmm. And that's the problem, is that we have to realize we can't fix everything. And there are things that are too complicated for us. And sometimes it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't want to give up, but I'm just not the right fit for the situation.
Yeah.
And I have to go my own way. And that upsets some people. Like, we came to you for help and you can't help us. That's correct. But you did so much good for other people. That's true. Why can't you help us? They try to offer something. I'm like, no, there's nothing I can do. The situation is out of my wheelhouse. And a lot of people don't understand that because they hear that I can do good things and then I can't. Is it us? And you can't say yes, because partially it's much more complicated than that, which is what I say. It's far more complicated than that. And I'm not the right fit for this situation. It's humble. It's humbling when you can say, I can't help you. I'm sorry. I've done the best I can. I think I told one person, I'm a plumber and you need an electrician. And that was the only thing they understood. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a comparison. Because there are so many different levels.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Another thing is that I don't believe that fear and love can interact. Someone said that the only way to get rid of fear is using love. And I'm like, it's that would make them on top of, I think they're on two different levels. And yes, love can help, but fear is independent of love. And, it's so much. It's so complicated. Like, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying there's more to it and you have to have more. And I don't like the word love as much as compassion, because love is hard to define when you got, romantic love and, brotherly love and friendship love and love your children. Well, compassion is always compassion, but some people want to use that love. And I'm like, that's yours. You can use that. But for me, I use compassion because I know what compassion means. Well, love has so many levels to it. But again, that's my path. It's your path. And we can exist in each other's paths, but sometimes we're going to meander and go in a different way and come back later.
Well, we are in the age right now of discernment. Also feeling that it's not the age of boundaries anymore. So this might be interesting for people to really start to let those go, because that's old in my opinion as well. Yet this discernment of compassion and love and just kind of finding your way through things, because we're not at the point right yet. It's just, oh, we're just free and we can open up.
Yeah.
You still have to take action, and you still have to make choices and decisions. And that is one of the reasons why it is very challenging today. What decision do I make? Where do I feel it in my body? How do I navigate all of this? Because it is very tricky, very tricky. And that's what I help people with at all. And same thing, I'm not perfect. I'm learning a lot of this too, because we've never gone through anything like this before. So it's just maintaining peace and stability. So even when something crazy happens in the world, as a human being, still, like, it's not, again, to put your head in the sand, but just to watch it and to be part of it, but not in it. And that's really challenging too. Yet that is what this human mastery is about. It's about how can you be peaceful all the friggin' time, even with everything that's going on, and realizing that all of this is divine, all of it, the evil, the goodness, every piece of it. And we have chosen at this time to come on this earth to be here to experience it. So none of it is random. Everything is by choice. You've decided all of it to be here, but then you also get to decide, what are you going to be in it? It's great.
That's
great.
Truth. Yes, yes.
Do you have free will? I mean, there's some divine that is also a part of everything as well. So that is definitely a structure. So it's not, I also don't believe, oh, you have complete free will. There is divine stuff that's working for you. Or if you want to say, well, it's always for you, even if you may feel that it's against you all the time. And you can create, you can manifest your world. And we're getting to the level too, where your thoughts have so much power right now. Negative thoughts, positive thoughts. Like for me, I attempt to be so super conscious all the time and present as much as I can. Oh, how about y'all? Where are y'all within that?
I totally agree with all of that. I got some big questions though.
Yeah.
Got some big questions for you. Now I know some things, but and here's the deal.
Yeah.
Most people who see spirits or have contact or have visions or whatever like that have a near-death experience. You said you had a near-death experience. Was that due to the cancer or what? Explain that. When did your vision start coming into effect? I am desperately curious to know that.
Hey, and just for those watching, the sun is coming. I might pull my window shut a little bit more. It's coming right down my face soon.
I see that.
So I had been doing this sort of work for, what was it, 10 to 12 years. So at that point, I was in Akron, Ohio. I had just opened up a meditation studio. So there were lots of yoga studios around, yet no meditation studios. So I was living the dream. Essentially, I was so excited about this establishment. I had moved from a studio that was not that nice into one that was really nice. So everything was going spectacularly. I was eating well. My mindset was really great. So it wasn't, I had to have a near-death experience to see across the veil. None of that. So it was a normal week, and my team and I were at a middle school going to teach teachers doing Reiki and meditation. I mean, it was a great day, a typical school. And I started feeling a little dizzy. And by the end of that week, I couldn't get out of bed. So a week of just, craziness, let's put it that way. So my former husband so it was Monday, on Friday, he suggested strongly, we need to go to a doc in a box and see what's going on. So quick doc in a box, they basically said, we're going to give you a migraine tonic. If you're not feeling better by the next day, you need to go to the emergency room. So Saturday morning, I was not feeling good, went to the emergency room. I feel that if my then husband hadn't prodded me to get up, I feel like I would have been dead in the next couple of days. It was so fast and it was so rapid. And I was also at the point, I just didn't care. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to talk. The pain was so horrific. I describe it like a migraine times 20,000. I mean, I did not want to open my eyes. I didn't want to do anything. So turns out quickly, had a CAT scan. There was a lesion in my lung and 3 in my brain, which again, so much of my work, all my work was involving mindset and brain. So I was like, that's kind of crazy. So they initially said, we are pretty sure that you have stage 4 lung cancer. So I was this is 10 years ago, was in my mid 40s. Both my girls were 12 and 10 years old. And as soon as we got that diagnosis, went straight to the hospital. So life changed in an instant, in an instant. So I was there for like a week and a half. They tried to do a biopsy on my lung to see if it was definitely lung cancer. The lung was too close, or the lesion was too close to my heart, so they couldn't do that. So they're like, well, all we can do at this point is brain surgery. So we're going to do that and open up your brain. And there's a lesion that's right close to the exterior. So we will go and do that. Yet we cannot promise that you're going to live through this. We can't promise that when you're done with this, you're going to be able to eat, you're going to be able to talk, you're going to be able to walk. Why don't you just sign this consent form? Because that's really all that we can do at this point. So it's so interesting, Robert, and lucky I didn't do typical Western medicine at that point. I rarely went, but yet this was an emergency. So there really wasn't a choice. Because it needed to happen so quickly. So anyway, had the first craniotomy. It was the only time I was in the hospital by myself at this point. And I woke up around 1 a.m. in the ICU. And it's usually pretty crazy in the ICU. So this was the only time it was crazy for me. So I woke up and my door was open. I was groggy, couldn't really talk, couldn't find the nurse's button anywhere. And it was like heaven and hell was presented to me. There was someone who came in throwing up, crying, yelling. Then there were some of the faculty that were there laughing. And it was just like everything was in front of my face. And all I could do was look at it. I couldn't get up. I couldn't do anything. And then I felt this pressure come all over me. And I say God because for me, given my upbringing and everything, I need a really personal experience. So also the universe, whatever works for you. To me, it's kind of the same thing. Yet, and I'd talked to God before this, but this was different. This was a total experience, I guess is the best way to say it. So I felt all this pressure on me, holding me down. So it wasn't this event where I went out of my body, or there was a golden light and my family was there saying hi. Because if that had happened, I'm sure I would have been like, yes, let's do this thing. So all this pressure. And I just heard distinctly, this is God. You essentially have a choice right now. You can just pop out of this life if you want. And you're seeing in front of you everything about life, everything that it means to be human, the good parts, the bad parts, the up and down, all of it. And if you do that, you can leave immediately. All you have to do is close your eyes and you'll be gone. Okay. And Eden, it's going to be great. It's going to be fabulous on the other side because you've connected that, the truth of that. And I also knew through the work that I did that I would be there with my kids, even if I would just be there in spirit and not in body. So I was okay with that. And then God goes, okay, but here's the kicker. You can just, if you decide to stay, it is going to be so good for you. You are going to learn so much. Not that you're going to learn a lot on the other side too, but the experience that you have if you decide to stay is going to be monumental. And that's really all I needed to hear. The pressure went off and I had a moment just to look around, and just hearing that if you stay, the growth is going to be wow. And I didn't know at that point if I was going to be able to walk. I didn't know anything. So part of me, I look back at that and I'm like, wow, you really you really did some stuff. You assumed, I don't know what I exactly assumed. I just knew that whatever happened, that I would be okay if I was in a wheelchair or whatever. So right at that point, I knew I wanted to eat, which food at that point was kind of what was life. So the nurse came in and I could barely speak. Somehow I asked her to get my husband to come. He came in the next day, ate, and was just like, okay, here we go. And you know what? So right as I look, I had no idea about the Great Awakening at that point, and learning about that 6 years ago, and that and knowing that I am going to be more of a proponent and help people learn how to be human at this level, that is why I'm here. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad to be here, and so excited that happened to me, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. So I ended up having to go through another craniotomy, was in the hospital for a month and a half, 2 years of major healing and learning how to walk again, learning how to talk again. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I love it too now, because if anyone comes to me and they have a really hard story, I can tell them mine, and they can look at me and go, oh, maybe we don't share exactly the same situation, yet I can go, yeah, I get it. I had a really challenging thing happen to me too. Let's talk about it. Let's go.
Yeah. Wow. So that was kind of like your near-death experience, but
yeah, was
that your visions, you seeing things, spirits and stuff that came after that?
No, I had that before, so none of that changed.
Oh, really? Since you were meditating, then when you started to do the meditation and the Reiki, and whenever you were given those classes, or what, did that start early on in your childhood or something?
Well, I grew up in the deep South. I'll tell you this little story really quickly. Grew up in the deep South. My parents did not go to church, so I felt like a little heathen, essentially, because, you go to school and everybody be like, hey, Eden, what'd you do at church this weekend? Because they not only went to church on Sundays, but Wednesdays and Thursdays. So when I was younger, I pedaled my bike to a church, and nothing quite fit. Like I pictured there's this little girl, skinny little Southern girl, going to these churches, and I figured everybody'd be like, hey, let's just bring you in. I still felt like an outsider. I started reading the Bible, and that just didn't fit for me, because there was death and God was hurting people. From my perception, I was just like, I can't quite handle that. So I gave up on God, and it wasn't until I started doing meditation. And the reason I started doing meditation was I was at work and felt like I wasn't balanced anymore. So I wasn't depressed, but had started feeling a little bit of that and unhappiness. So two of my friends said, hey, we've got this woman that we go see. She does meditation. We love her. And I was like, you know what? That feels like that will help me. Not that I wanted to do meditation. I didn't care about any of that yet. She and her classes, and I was with her for 6 years. It ended up being my training ground to do the work that I do today as a starting. It opened me up to God, to the point where to believe in God, to believe in a higher power, I knew I needed to be knocked on the head. I was in that class. And within that, learned or really saw that how empathetic I was. And I could connect to people. I could see, I do psychic stuff, do medium type work. So the near-death experience just accentuated God to me, accentuated that there is so much more to life. It's accentuated that, oh gosh, what else can I say with it? That I'm supposed to be on this earth doing what I'm doing now. It added a triple, quadruple exclamation points to things that I already knew. I like that analogy. What do you think about that, Robert?
I think it's great. Well, yeah, because Lucky's story and others, we've interviewed, me and him interviewed some people who, once they started, was Dr. Bentonhausen, and I can't remember her other name, but anyway, they wrote a few books on their past lives, but they only started. You remember their names, Lucky?
I I was just looking at them a couple days ago.
I know, so was I, and I can't remember them off the top of Bentonhausen, and I can't remember her last name. But anyway, we were as soon as they started doing meditation. Now they never did it any of this before, kind of like you were talking about. They just so, and then they started doing meditation, and then that opened up their mind.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all of a sudden the floodgates came in, and then all of these things started to happen, and so forth and so on, enough that they started writing books about it because it was so intriguing. And so that, and it kind of, that's what fascinates me. I know some people have had visions before on things that they were supposed to do. I interviewed one guy, and he had a vision of the Virgin Mary when he was a small child. And she said, I'll be back. And later on, she did come back and told him, hey, this is what I want you to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he'd seen her a few times after that. And I thought, oh, okay. So I'm trying to put all this together on, how do people react? Now, Lucky, you had your own near-death experience when you were young too, right?
Woman's name was Carla
and
Bodney
David Benthausen.
Kidd.
That's it.
Yeah, it was David Benthausen and Carla Bodney Kidd. I wrote it down. I just had to find it. I've had a couple. I grew up on a farm next to a river, and I fell in the river, and I was a very small child and drowned. And a couple, got knocked out by horses and stuff like that. So yeah, I've had a few. Never broke a bone, but had a lot of stitches and a lot of concussions. That's another problem. I had a lot of concussions. I think the worst one was I was unconscious for about 45 minutes.
Ooh.
I woke up in the hospital. Yeah, it was fun. But the problem is I never remembered when I woke up. I had no idea what happened. But then afterwards, days later, I filled in the blanks, which is kind of weird, which is, you never remember what happened. And late, I would always remember back and like, wait, and all this stuff would come in and just stuff that just bizarre. And they were like, yeah, that was just the brain does weird things when you go through these things. That was a lot of things like that. But
Wow. Well, so do you guys meditate?
I try to. I'm not perfected at it. I do a little bit.
I do a lot of, I do walking meditation. I do spinning. I also, I can lay down and meditate and not fall asleep, except for lately where it's not sleeping. It is, I am going away and going somewhere else and coming back with so much information and then coming back into this world and not able to integrate it, which I'm getting used to that idea, which is, it's a recent thing that I don't know what's going on, where I know the meditation has some profound stuff and I come out and I'm like, wow, this is great. Let me stop writing it down. And it's like gobbledygook. This doesn't make any sense.
Oh, man.
But it's a recent thing. I think it's just integration of information. I just need time. I knock the light out again.
Oh my gosh, and I'm moving away from this light that's coming through me or coming to my eyes. Yeah, I feel that meditation is the way to connect to source, to the universe, to find that peace within yourself, to be able to disconnect to all, like you said, the gobbledygook that goes on, the monkey mind that goes on, to learn how to quiet that down. Because once you start to really do that, you start to see yourself more completely, the shadow sides of you, the parts, the subconscious parts of you that say these, sometimes not these nice things that you don't ever hear, that until you're quiet, suddenly they can come up and you can actually work with them. So bringing awareness to the things that you're not aware of, it's just the bomb. I can't imagine that I could do what I do now without having that or being introduced to that.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. He's got a light on. You got no light. You got too much light.
I got too much. I'm going to keep moving over a little bit.
I just needed to move it to a place where I would stop touching it. That's the problem. My knee kept touching the button, so I had to move it out of the way.
There you go.
The problem with meditation is the quieting of the mind isn't the goal. It's just not interacting with the mind. And
yes,
I also learned a long time ago that my ego is a guard dog. But if it's not trained right, it'll be biting everyone. As a guard dog needs to be trained appropriately. So for my ego is that, and I've learned to listen to it, not engage, it's a balance where I hear you, I appreciate your input, but that's not appropriate right now, that kind of thing. And I've had a very good relationship with my ego lately. Yes, it does come up with some horrible things, but it's what the ego does. And yeah, that's okay. But again, there's a point of accepting the ego as it is and not integrating it and not be affected by it. And it's like, oh, no, I'm hearing you. I'm listening to you. I'm not ignoring you. I accept what you say. It's just, it's not appropriate at this time, and that kind of, from my ego at least. I'm not into killing the ego. But again, we're all on our different life paths, and what you do with your ego is your choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would agree with you too, because a lot of people come to me going, oh, I can't clear my mind out. And you're right. It's not about clearing it. There are times where I can go into it, because I've been doing this for a long time, that it is super clear. It's like this curtain of darkness and beautiful, not dark evil, but just this silence comes over, and I can just be in this place of depth and nothingness. Yet there are also times for me to come in and to look at the noise, but move back from it so I can see it clearly. There are times when I use it to go in, if I have a question for myself and what's going on in my life, and I want answers from guides or voices that I hear, I go into that space where I can really listen. So it is so multifaceted for me. And it's just great to have that, because I also know that, if I had come from this near-death experience and I couldn't walk or couldn't talk, I always have meditation, always. And that to me is such a beautiful thing. If I end up can't talk or I can't hear, I can always have that.
Nice. Yeah, that is so great. I don't know. I don't have that much luck with the meditation. I clear my mind and stuff, but then I tend to, I would say I could lucid dream in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh,
and
great.
That is my big thing. As soon as I close my eyes and I relax a little bit, I'm aware that I'm here, but then I lucid dream into another reality. I swear to God, it's a reality, because sometimes it seems more real than this place. And I'll live weeks at a time in minutes. And then I wake up and I'm like, where the hell am I? And I have to really, there are times that it's scary, because I don't know if that was real or this is real, because it seems so real over there. I'm doing a whole nother life over there. And then I come back here and I'm like, oh, well, I can't, it's hard to separate that reality from this one. And that's kind of the, oh boy, I hope I don't do that again today kind of thing.
I would say they're all real, all the dimensions that exist all at the same time. And lucid dreaming, astral travel, I those are not in my wheelhouse. So that's very exciting for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a whole other component. Just neat. The world is so neat, ain't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, absolutely. It just tells you that there's more out there than we can imagine. And there's a lot of people who don't meditate. They don't do anything. Again, a lot of people are trapped in a religion where they go, they pray, they ask for hope and salvation and something from an entity that they don't even understand. Again, they read the Bible and they believe every word is true, but yet none of it makes sense. And, they and I don't mean the Bible bash people, but come on, really wake up. It's a guilt, fear, control thing. They tell you what to do in each religion, and then you got to abide by those rules. And, where's the free will that you have to believe what you want to believe? What you have to believe what it says in this book because it said that, and some guy said that 2,000 years ago and they wrote it down. Was he really running around with a scribe or something, writing it down on stone tablets? Like the Flintstones or something, while he was speaking, and then was this channeled information from somewhere else? Were they lucid dreaming as they were writing this down and having these visions of a character? Or is it just a book, kind of like I sometimes say, Lord of the Rings, or the Harry Potter books? Think of it, 1,000 years from now, somebody reads Lord of the Rings. Will they actually think that really happened? Heck, today people think it actually happened.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a lot of anything with dogma is all about control. I think that the Bible has been heavily manipulated by man also for control. I work a lot with Jesus. Jesus is magnificent. The energy, I think there are so many untruths about him, about Mary. I've heard that Jesus is also a Palladian. I heard the other day, Arcturian. I think there's way more to that. Yet I also believe that Jesus is really predominant in this Great Awakening too. I feel that there's so much with her energy, because I also believe that Jesus is both within this time that's so important. So I think Jesus is masterful. I think Buddha is masterful. I think there's so many masters. There are, again, going back to fairies, and it's so big. Mm-hmm. I think that so many religions, they're all based in some sort of truth. Yet I will also say that when what I believe with meditation is you can be your own master. You can be your own connection to source, to spirit, and that you don't need this intermediary. I think that's one of the really astounding things about doing that work and that practice.
Yeah, and I agree. And like the Jesus thing, the Jesus, the Mary, these people who, like who've seen these visions and stuff. I know the one guy said, "Hey, I know it wasn't the Virgin Mary, but the vision that I seen, it was the Virgin Mary." And I think, when people see Jesus, it is the Jesus, but it's a safe character that you don't feel threatened by. Because if you see a big bad booty guy there with arms and tentacles, you wouldn't want to trust him. If he's big and he's evil, he looks evil. If he's small, Lucky was just saying he's small, looks like a child. He's should be non-threatening, but maybe he's the worst one. But the big one, maybe he's just big. That's all. And, if you see Jesus, well, it's a safe character. We've all been groomed to believe that that's a good guy, and Mary is a good person, and we shouldn't be threatened. If it was something else, it might be threatening, and you just run away and not want to see it. No, get away from me, aliens. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Jesus might be a Palladian, but he assumes that title just so that you're comfortable.
Well, and I would add to that too, the energy, like to me, connecting to Jesus, the energy it's incomprehensible. It is so loving and so vast. And so the Christ consciousness, it's just, I think it's also where we're heading in this Great Awakening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, I think you got it right there. People tend to gravitate to that Jesus is Christ, and it's really a Christ consciousness that he embodied. And there you go. Look at our time. Holy cow, it's flown by. But that was fast. Gee, seems like we just started this, but oh boy. Well, anyway, why don't you say some last words here? You want to tell everybody where they can find you, and we'll put that in the description below. And
yeah, and thank you for that, Robert. EdenJustBe.com is my website, so you can go there. It has methods to contact me. Right now, I'm doing mostly face-to-face, well, not face, remote sessions, so you can figure out how to do that. So my sessions are for anything that you're struggling with. I work with a lot of depression, bipolarism. I work with people who just want to be happier. I work with people that want to do more connecting to all that is. So my sessions are very unique and diverse as well. And I did want to put this out there, Robert, because I want to start putting energy towards it. So currently I'm in Ohio. I'm not from here. I will be moving very soon to New Mexico. My plan is to move into an earth ship off the grid. If you're not familiar with earth ships, look them up. Fabulous. I plan to start doing retreats there. I'm about to do, I don't know if you guys are familiar with breatharianism. I'm about to do a breatharian retreat in Spain in the next couple weeks. So that will teach me how to eat and drink differently than we have been told. So that is going to be fantastic. So my plan is to move there rather soon, to teach people how to eat differently, how to live differently, the mindset differently. And the earth ships that I'm looking at are right by beautiful gorge, mountains, hot springs. It's going to be the new earth. I'm telling you, I'm going to start creating it right now. And these earth ships, again, solar, the water that comes through is self-generated, and the sewage, you don't need anything from the man. So I'm very excited about what is coming to be shortly. Oh, how was that? I loved it. Thank you for letting me share.
That was great. Oh, I'd love to see an earth ship up close and personal.
Oh, my gosh.
I've watched them on YouTube videos. It's great.
Have you? Good for you. Yeah, that's awesome. So I just stayed at one a month or two ago, decided that's where I'm going to move. And I was actually born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So it's neat to be going back there. And I was only there for like 8 months of my life. So, so that'll be, so expanding all of this into helping humans learn how to human in a new, different way with this great awakening and the new earth. So not quite there yet, but it's going to be there soon. So there you go. There you have it.
Lucky?
There's a lot of tangents here that I'm not going to bring. This was a wonderful, there's a lot to this show that, oh boy, you could probably have another 7-8 shows from this show. I'm just amazed what's going on. But I think the whole summing up is that be at peace, that we're each, oh my God, there's so many things. I got to be careful, because you're about manifestation, that be careful what you wish for. You'll create it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, we can have peace, and we can help everyone when they're ready, if they're ready, and it's all there. Oh, but wow, I have a lot of tangents here that I got to not even look at. Not looking at you right now, but yeah. Wow, what a show! Wonderful. Thank you for me being here. Thank you for allowing me to be here for this.
Thank you. And thank you. Y'all are the first people I've shared New Mexico with. So I love doing that too, in terms of manifesting, in terms of making it happen. So delighted to do that. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me and letting me talk. I loved it.
Yeah, that's right. You're the host. The host always lets everybody else talk. But here tonight, you're not the host. So I'm glad you did talk. We're here to ask questions. But anyway, with all of that, everybody, remember, go out and do something nice for your neighbor, your friend, somebody else. Raise your vibration. Open your third eye. Look out there. Do some meditation, because guess what? You want to be the frequency you want to receive, everybody. Love y'all. Peace, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.